What's up, Neon Nation? Welcome back to the channel for a Cyberpunk 2077 lore video. Today we're going to be talking about some of the biggest gangs in Night City. We'll be going through some of the gangs we've seen so far, even some you might have missed, as well as what kind of gangs frequent the streets of Night City. We'll also be looking at them more specifically and detailing some of the more important ones from the Cyberpunk lore and source material. First, let's take a look at what kind of archetypes gangs can fall into, since there's quite a few of them. First, we have chromatic metal gangs. Now, chrome gangs like their entire lives to revolve around music and their favorite rock bands, and take their lyrics very seriously, usually following everything said by these bands as gospel. There's little thought involved in the actions of these chromatic metal gangs, and think senseless violence is a means of expression and art. Next, we have combat gangs. Combat gangs typically follow what's called the Warrior's Code, which involves combat rituals, ranking, gang hierarchies, and heavily fortified body armor. Combat gangs generally spend most of their time beating the pulp out of other combat gangs. Next, we have cult gangs. Now, these are generally made up of youth and younger members who are extremist in nature. They rely on symbols and idols and are mentally unstable, but generally aren't compelled by bloodlust. After that, we have family or familial gangs. These feature older and younger members, with the older members providing and protecting for the group, and the younger members stealing and slinging drugs on the street. Family gangs are extremely territorial over their members, hence the name family gang. Hate gangs are united around hatred for any race other than their own. Similarly to racial groups today, they have uniforms, flags, slogans, and logos to reinforce this. They will attack anyone with a different ideology. Party gangs are pretty self-explanatory. They party, drink lots of Night City's beverage of choice, Smash, and take and deal drugs. All these guys care about is raving and partying. Prankster gangs are some of the more interesting gangs in Night City. They're centered completely around playing practical jokes on one another. The severity of pranks, however, can be anywhere from lighthearted fun to sadistic and torturous implementations. Self-defense gangs are the final type of gang who are docile until threatened. They will only engage in combat if you enter their turf and you're perceived as a danger. Next, let's move on to some of the gangs we've seen thus far in some of the gameplay footage we've seen. Let's start with the most obvious in the Maelstrom gang. The Maelstrom gang fall under the category of combat gang in 2020 lore, but are often referred to as a psycho gang in 2077 due to their asphyxiation with cybernetics. Almost a third of their members are on the edge of cyberpsychosis, and another third are clinical cyberpsychos. Aesthetically, the Maelstrom from 2077 are quite different from their 2020 counterparts with their street-modded optical units. Their similarity lies in their dressing, which features black leather garments with studs. According to 2020 lore, Maelstrom members were almost wiped out by rival gang, the Inquisitors. They held onto a code of honor when they were known as the Metal Warriors, until their original leader, Hammer, was thrown out, and this led them to attack anyone and leave the code behind in an attempt to hoard cyberware and drugs. 2020's logo is a hand with a black hammer, and 2077 seems to be a mix between a spider, front optic mount, and a skull. In 2077, Simon Randall Royce is their leader, and we see members Dum Dum, Rust in Peace, and we hear mention of Kurt and Tommy. Next, we have this futuristic looking gang in Night City. We see these guys in the E3 trailer and concept art screenshots, and they look a lot like the Braniacs from the original tabletop game. Braniacs are a gang in Night City who value skill chips over any other type of cyberware. Skill chips allow you to download skills to become more proficient at them. Want to increase your martial arts skills? Just buy a level 2 martial arts skill chip. Upper level members of the Braniacs are so advanced that they're essentially walking supercomputers and on the verge of cerebral cyberpsychosis. Braniacs favor outwitting and outsmarting opponents with traps and elaborate plans. In fact, they're so savvy that higher ranking members can sometimes hire themselves out to corporations to make some extra coin on the side. Braniacs call corporate center their home, and this seems to ring true in 2077 as well, as we see one walking around in this area of the city in the demo. Next, we have the Valentinos. Now, the meme potential for this gang is pretty high up there, as they are a poser gang dedicated to seducing the most attractive women in Night City. The more of a challenge, the better, and the more invested Valentinos members become in pursuing a woman. They meet 4 times a year to compare conquests and are generally harmless. Now, this can be seen in Cyberpunk content we've seen so far when it comes to Jackie. It seems like Jackie has a Valentinos shirt in the demo and from screenshots, and we can also see the Valentinos logo on his jacket as he rips some dude's optic out of his head. We know this is Jackie because of his hair, jewelry on his wrists, as well as his tattoos. This is also a curious detail because the Valentinos aren't known for removing cyber optics like this. The gang known for this is called Blood and Tears, so maybe Jackie is somewhat of a drifter. Next, we're going to talk about some of the gangs we know a fair bit about from Cyberpunk 2020 lore, and although we haven't seen them in 2077 as of yet, will probably play a big part in its world as well. Obviously, their aesthetics will be reworked to fit the world of 2077, much like the Maelstroms was, so keep that in mind. First, we have the Bozos. This is a predatory prankster gang who have a horrific reputation. About a third of them are in the grip of cyberpsychosis. Their bodies, although may look dressed up in clown attire, are actually biosculpted with big feet, bulbous noses, and creepy clown faces. They torture and murder people for their entertainment, are packed with cybernetics, and can even be found prowling the net. The Philharmonic Vampires are classified as an artsy prankster gang. They are vandals who use politically loaded topics in their elaborate pranks as a means to make a social statement. Think about these guys as the Banksies of Night City. They're generally found all over the city center and have even collaborated with famous rocker boys, fixers, and corpos of the past in their elaborate pranks. They have an intolerance for street mimes, and this causes them to butt heads with our next gang, the Juilliard. The Juilliard is a defensive gang comprised mainly of street performers. Being a street performer in the world of Cyberpunk is even more thankless than it is in our modern society, and they are constantly harassed, attacked, and looked down upon. The gang collaborates on where to perform, and the best spots are given to veteran members with the most talent. Their weaponry is lackluster and includes weighted juggling clubs, machine guns, and instrument cases. Their encounters with the vampires and bozos on show nights are not uncommon and usually never end well. The Juilliard are typically overlooked and are at the bottom of the talent pool, with only our next gang, the DJs, beneath them in this department. The DJs are a chrome gang filled with talentless wannabe rocker boys. Most of the members are young and are involved in small time and petty crime. They know a great deal about the rock scene in Night City, including where the parties are, how to get cheap tickets, and all the watering holes popular rocker boys hang out in. In the past, some have even gotten a chance to party with Johnny Silverhand. They can usually be found outside record and music stores. Next up, we have the Black Queens. This gang is a fairly docile group of street hoodlums. The NCPD usually leaves the queens alone and can often use them as information sources in any given area as they are scattered throughout the city. They carry only switchblades, with higher ranking members sometimes carrying firearms. They reside deep in our next gang's territory, the Sacred Blades, although they do not clash. The Sacred Blades are a combat gang who have a tribal aesthetic and tend to favor machetes and combat knives. The gang features multiple ethnicities and use mind-altering drugs like peyote in an attempt to purify the heart and mind. Some members do carry cyber weapons, but for the most part they believe that there's only honor in wielding a blade. This gang exists purely to show off physical prowess and to make a statement. Next, we have the Voodoo Boys. Now, this gang is a high priority for the NCPD due to the fact that they sell synthetic drugs to university students, as well as their nihilistic and violent tendencies. This includes killing, torture, rape, and maiming or dissecting of victims. Voodoo Boys are thinly spread throughout the city with no distinct meeting places, although they do frequent biker bars. Next, we have the Silver Slash, Guardian Chrome gang named after a popular metal band. This is essentially the Blockwatch of Cyberpunk, as they protect tourists and take responsibility for public safety unofficially. The Silver Slash protect the weak and oppressed and are subsidized by local businesses who need protection from street scum. The back alley brawlers were created in response to a gang called the Slaughterhouse after they went on a massive killing spree in a local subway. The brawlers are well-meaning vigilantes and strike fear into the hearts of other gangs who have yet to take them out. Memberships to this gang are open to anyone who can take care of themselves and are willing to help. Next, we have Slaughterhouse, potentially the worst gang in Night City. Specializing in rippers, vampires, and other cybernetic implants that have sharp edges, many of the members will kill at a moment's notice due to cyberpsychosis. Their membership requires that you pack as many blades into or onto your body as possible and have a total disregard for human life. They have an ongoing war with their biggest opposition in the Sacred Blades. Finally, we have the Wild Things. This is a Dorfer or drug gang who have been in some small battles in the past, and unlike other Dorfer gangs, are nothing to laugh at. They are street tested and trained as well as predatory. These guys have been around for a long time and know the city very well. There are more gangs in the world of Cyberpunk, but these are the most prolific and well documented ones. I'm sure we will see more than just these when it comes to dive into 2077's Night City, like the Gilligans, Willow Sisterhood, Brady Bunch, and more. Now if you could choose what gang to be in out of the ones we've listed, which one would it be? Drop a comment and let me know, and for everything and anything Cyberpunk 2077, stay locked on the Neon Arcade.